Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. Hey Lions fans, buckle up because today, we've got some major updates that could shake up the landscape of the NFC North and honestly, could set the stage for an exciting upcoming season for Detroit. Now, I know many of you are eager to hear about the latest roster moves, the recent decisions made by the front office, and what all this means for the team's chances of making a deep playoff run, possibly even reaching the Super Bowl again. So, let's dive into what's been happening behind the scenes, starting with some roster adjustments that have caught the attention of fans and analysts alike. First, let's talk about the cornerback situation, because it's always a critical position in today's NFL, especially for a team like Detroit that's been building a solid, aggressive defense under head coach Dan Campbell and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. Recently, the Lions made a move involving Divad Wilson, a player who had been on injured reserve and was trying to find his footing in Detroit after stints with teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, Arizona Cardinals, and New York Giants. Wilson was signed to the team not long ago, as part of the initial wave of pickups when the team was evaluating talent during the offseason, but his time in Motown was surprisingly brief. Less than 72 hours, in fact. The Lions, on the day their rookies and first-year players reported for training camp, decided to waive Divad Wilson with an injury settlement. This kind of move is not unusual in the NFL. Teams often bring in players for a quick look, especially when they're dealing with injuries or trying to fill out the roster for training camp. But what's interesting here is the context of this move, which ties into a larger narrative about the Lions' roster management and their focus on health and depth at key positions. Wilson's departure was part of a series of roster adjustments that the Lions made right at the start of camp. The team also waived Gavin Holmes, a wide receiver who had been brought in as an undrafted free agent. Holmes, much like Wilson, was competing for a spot on the final roster, but the Lions decided to go in a different direction, perhaps looking for players with a different skill set or those who better fit their strategic vision for the upcoming season. Now, these roster moves, while seemingly minor in isolation, actually tell us quite a bit about the Lions' approach this year. Detroit is known for being meticulous and strategic, especially after the last few seasons where they've shown progress but still fell just short of playoff glory. They've been balancing veteran experience with young talent, trying to find that perfect mix to push them over the edge. And with these recent moves, it's clear that the Lions are not just playing it safe. They're actively trying to optimize their roster for both immediate success and long-term stability. But what about the bigger picture? Well, one of the most significant recent developments involves the veteran center, Frank Ragnow, who has been a cornerstone of the Lions' offensive line for years. Just a month ago, Ragnow announced his retirement from the NFL, a decision that took many fans by surprise. After battling a persistent foot injury that had deteriorated inoperable over the past couple of years, Ragnow decided that his health and quality of life had to come first. It's a tough but honest decision, especially for someone who has been such a vital part of Detroit's offensive success. Ragnow's decision to retire was not made lightly. In a heartfelt message shared on social media, he expressed his gratitude to the Lions organization and to the fans, emphasizing how much he appreciated the support over the years. He said, "I have given this team everything I have and I thought I had more to give, but the reality is I simply don't. I have to listen to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life." It's a reminder of how physically demanding the NFL truly is, and how sometimes players have to prioritize their health over the game they love. With Ragnow's retirement, the Lions have officially placed him on the reserve retired list, creating a much-needed roster spot. This move signals that Detroit is preparing for the upcoming season with a clear focus on their offensive line, which has been a key part of their recent success. Ragnow's leadership and consistency at the center position will be missed, but the team is certainly looking ahead, trying to fill that gap with younger talent and experienced backups who can step in and maintain the offensive line's strength. Now, let's take a moment here to reflect on what this all means for Detroit. The Lions are entering another pivotal season, and while some might see the loss of a player like Ragno as a setback, it also opens opportunities. The team's offensive line is still very talented, with a mix of seasoned veterans and promising young players ready to step up. Players like Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, and rookie prospects are all vying for roles, and the coaching staff is known for their ability to develop talent and adapt on the fly. And speaking of the coaching staff, it's worth mentioning how they're approaching this season with a mindset of resilience and innovation. Under head coach Dan Campbell, Detroit has been building a culture of toughness, accountability, and relentless pursuit of excellence. Last season, the Lions exceeded expectations by finishing with a solid record and making the playoffs for the first time in years. That journey was filled with memorable moments, from Jared Goff's leadership on offense to the emerging star power of players like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. This season, the expectations are even higher. The Lions are considered one of the most improved teams in the league, and many analysts believe they have the talent and coaching to finally break through and compete at the highest level. But of course, there's still a lot to prove. The NFC North, in particular, is fiercely competitive. The Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and Chicago Bears are all eager to claim their share of the division title, and every game will count. One of the key factors to watch this season will be the development of Jared Goff, who, after a stellar 2022 campaign, is looking to elevate his game even further. With a solid offensive line and weaponry like St. Brown and Gibbs, Goff has all the tools to lead a potent offense. But consistency and avoiding turnovers will be crucial, especially in divisional matchups that are often decided by small margins. On the defensive side, Detroit has made some intriguing moves in the offseason, focusing on adding depth and pass-rushing talent. The acquisition of players like James Houston and the continued growth of Aiden Hutchinson give the Lions a formidable front seven. If the defense can improve upon last year's performance, especially in third-down stops and red zone defense, it could be the difference-maker in close games. Now, let's not forget about the NFC North's dynamic. The Vikings, who had an impressive run last year, are looking to maintain their momentum. The Packers, under a new quarterback and a revamped defense, are eager to return to playoff contention. And the Bears, with their young core and draft picks, are not going down without a fight. So, for Detroit, every matchup within the division will be a battle, and the Lions need to be ready to face the intensity and physicality that comes with divisional rivalries. Looking forward, the Lions' schedule is no walk in the park, but their talent, coaching, and team chemistry make them a legitimate contender. The upcoming season will test their resilience and depth, especially with the roster adjustments they've made so far. The team's focus on developing younger players and maintaining a disciplined, aggressive style of play will be essential if they want to reach their ultimate goal, a deep playoff run, and hopefully, another shot at the Lombardi Trophy. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on the recent roster moves? Do you believe the team is better equipped this year to make a serious playoff push? How do you see the absence of Ragno affecting the offensive line's performance? Are you optimistic about the young talent stepping up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions are what make this community so special, and I love reading what you all have to say. We are truly entering an exciting chapter for the Detroit Lions, a season that could define the era of this team's rise to greatness. The passion, the resilience, and the unwavering support from the fans are what fuel this team's journey. So stay tuned because I'll be back soon with more updates, player insights, game analyses, and everything you need to stay ahead of the curve. Remember, this is a team that's been building for years, and every move, every game, every play counts. The Lions are not just aiming to compete, they're aiming to dominate and make their mark in the league. The road to the Super Bowl is long and challenging, but with this squad and the support of fans like you, they're more than capable of overcoming any obstacle in their path. So, let's keep the faith, stay loud, and continue to support our Detroit Lions through thick and thin. The best is yet to come, and I can't wait to see what this season has in store for us all. Thanks for tuning in, Lions fans. And as always, go Lions.